Good morning, folks that are here. We're going to let people come in for another couple minutes and get started at 11. Just going to wait one more minute as there are still people popping in. All right, Dan, do you want to go ahead and get started?
Yes, I will. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Um, my name's Dan Merck. I'm the Director of Transportation for STEP Incorporated. Joining me on this call, besides Jamie Williams, is Kay Keller, the Assistant Director of Transportation, and Penny Chapman, our Lead Customer Service Specialist. The purpose of this training informational session is to give you information on two items which we feel will continue to enhance our customer service and also importantly, increase access to transportation. That's a Find My Ride apply and Find My Ride schedule. You will have the opportunity to ask questions during this training. And then most of you will have our contact information also here at STEP, and we'll make sure that we try to have no question unanswered. So with that, I'm again going to welcome you and turn the rest of the program for now over to Jamie.
All right. We are going to start off with just a short 2-minute video that goes over the Find My Ride system in general. All right, back that up.
Find My Ride is here to help you find transportation services and transportation assistance programs throughout Pennsylvania. Public transportation options are available in every county in Pennsylvania. Use Find My Ride to identify your options, apply for assistance programs, and plan your next trip. Pennsylvania has fixed route transportation options that follow consistent schedules and routes. These options are available throughout the state, typically in urban areas. Fixed route services can include buses and trains that take riders around town or a college campus. There are also buses and trains to take riders from their home in the suburbs to the city, or from one city to another. When fixed route isn't available, or for those who are unable to use fixed route, shared ride services are provided. Shared ride services take riders from one location, such as their home, to their destination. Trips are scheduled in advance, and vehicles are shared by multiple riders. Transportation assistance is available for seniors, persons with disabilities, and low-income individuals to help offset the cost of the service. To benefit from a transportation assistance program, riders must first apply for the programs they qualify for. To learn more about transportation services and assistance programs in your area, visit findmyride.penndot.pa.gov or contact your local transit agency. Find My Ride was developed with funds from the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation and the Federal Transit Administration. For more information, visit findmyride.penndot.pa.gov.
All right, so there is our sort of high-level overview there, and then we're going to start at the beginning with what you need to do to get someone actually registered and applying for the programs. Here we go. Maybe. There we go. All right, Penny, I am sharing the application screen, so you can kind of take over.
Okay, so what you're seeing here is the login to be able to process or submit an application to us using the PennDOT's Find My Ride. You would need a Keystone login, a PA Keystone login, username to be able to get started. I know that we have some information to get you that Keystone login when you're ready to process the applications. On this screen here, you get to see any applications that you may have already submitted or have been started by answering a few questions. Or if you're not sure about the eligibility that you would qualify for, you can hit the learn more and it would go over what types of transportation you would be eligible for to use with us. So if you are doing an application for somebody or helping somebody get set up for services, In the first screen, you would want to put in their first name and their last name, and then you would hit continue. In this screen, you would add in their home address. This will be all the demographic information, letting us know what county you live in, what your home address is, so we can get everything started based on all the information that we enter into these boxes. Helps us to identify what programs you could or could not be eligible for. So we would enter the, oh, sorry, Jamie.
Yeah, did you have a preference for the date of birth that I enter here?
We can use the one that was with the test client that I sent you, 6/27/64.
Okay.
Now, whenever we are getting people into this Find My Ride site, we already have an idea of what eligibilities they are meeting. So if you know that they have medical assistance, you would want to click yes, that they have it. No, if not, and then hit next. If they have a disability, in order for us to process somebody or make them eligible for a disability program, we would need a certificate of disability filled out by the client's doctor or medical professional. So once we have that certificate of disability filled out, we would be able to click yes to provide that we did receive the certificate of disability. If they are over the age of 60 and they are now receiving Medicare, we would be able to answer yes or no in these questions if they have it or do not have Medicare. If the client is a veteran or states that they are a veteran, we do ask for, at this time, we do ask for a copy of their DD-214, and we would need to be able to prove that they were discharged under honorable conditions with that DD-214. Based on the answers that we provided, it is telling us what the person's eligibility or what programs the person is eligible for. So it's showing us that we established that they are between the ages of 60 and 64. They do have medical assistance, and they could also qualify for the reduced fare transit program if it's applicable for your area. And then we would hit start application. Now, this is just a review of all the information we had already provided. It asks us at this point if the client has a middle initial, what their gender is, their email address, their home phone number, and if the person filling out the application is themselves or somebody filling it out for them. And anything with a red star next to it, it is required that you provide information. And then here again, it is reviewing the address, making sure that we entered everything in correctly. Is their application, is their mailing address the same as their home address? Would they want printed material sent to them? And then we would hit yes or no on each of these areas and then hit save. This is not a required field, but if a person chooses to have an emergency contact, just in case something were to happen, they can provide that information to us, what the relationship is, and then we would be able to hit save. Again, this is not mandatory or required for an emergency contact. This, for the demographic information, we want to know what language and what their race or ethnicity is. It is not required that they have to give us a race or ethnicity. They can tell us unknown if they choose not to answer, or I choose not to respond. That is up to the client. We also ask if they are residing in a nursing home or in a personal care home or assisted living, because it does help us set the client up correctly. For this transportation information, we want to know if the person is going to need somebody to go along with them for their rides. And then we would ask if it was if they need a personal care attendant. The personal care attendant is more towards the people that are requesting disability transportation services under the ADA PWD program. And then the next is, how do they get to where they are going? So they can answer whatever that they want. You can pick more than one answer. Once you have that in, then we would be able to hit save and move on to the next questions. Now for this is asking if the person is using a mobility device. So if they are in a wheelchair, we would want to click yes, we need a lift enabled vehicle. And then we would want to click yes to the mobility devices and what kind of mobility device that they used. We do ask if they can transfer from their mobility device to a seat. And we do ask how much the person weighs and the size of the wheelchair, because we do have vehicles that are equipped to lift certain sizes on our lift. Then we would confirm that the date of birth in the county that we had chose for them is correct. And if we confirm that, we would be able to hit yes and move on. Now this is for the RFTP program. This is because we showed that the client was between 60 and 64. Typically for our area, we do say no, because they are usually using our transportation. If they want to get bus passes, they can reach our other agency to get those bus passes. Now, if a person shows that they are between 60 and are 60 and older, we do ask for proof of age. So here we can either use their numbers, the driver's license number or Pennsylvania issued ID number off of the card. And that would be all we would need to do to verify their proof of age. If they are using an out-of-state license or birth certificate or a Social Security awards letter, those would be acceptable proofs of age, but we would need to scan that documentation in. So you would click that upload proof of age and then hit save and continue. The authorization for user disclosure, that is for somebody that we had established was looking to get medical assistance transportation. So each person that we set up for their medical assistance program, we will see this user disclosure page when we are processing the application. There's nothing we would need to do on this. Just roll to the bottom and then click agree. We would want to verify that the information in there is correct before we hit agree though. So when we get to the medical assistance verification, it's going to ask you for the applicant's MAID, which is a 10-digit medical MAID number, or we can simply add in the Social Security number for the applicant. And then based on, once we enter the information there, we would be able to get the person or verify that the person has an eligibility with medical assistance. And at the end, for the attached documents for age, this is, like I said, for people that do not have a Pennsylvania state issued ID, or if they are using another document to provide proof of age. They would be able to scan the document in and then drop it into this site here, and that would be an acceptable document. And then once you are all done, you would submit the applications to us. At that point, your job is done. It would be submitted then to our email address at TR Center. And then we would just take control of that application from that point. We would verify their eligibilities, whether or not they meet those requirements. We would set them up in our EcoLane system, and we would contact the client to let them know that we did receive everything. They are set up, good for transportation. And we would also send them like our brochures based on what they are being approved for with their eligibilities.
All right. Anything else on the apply process, Penny?
Nope. Like I said, once they hit submit, we take control of it from that point, and their job is done, and we take over everything and get them set up with us for services.
All right. And once they are registered, we can move into the Find My Ride schedule process. And I will share the walkthrough on that. Maybe. Let's see. All right, it looks like we can't actually play this video during a meeting, Penny. So we can move into actually the website where they can schedule a ride. All right, Penny, I've got the Find My Ride schedule website open. Penny, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Okay, we are going to book a ride and get somebody set up for transportation services. 69574. Now this, if you forgot your ID, all you would need to do is type in your name, the county you live in, and your date of birth. And then it will tell you what your client ID number is. Yep, okay. So we got the person in Lycoming County. We're gonna plan the trip. Okay, so we'll put in 360 East Park Street, which is the person's home address. And we're gonna take them to 1705 Warren Avenue, which is the Wenner Building in Williamsport. Now you're gonna actually what you'll do is you'll hover onto these, and these will actually bring up the Wenner Building.
There we go.
Yep, there it is. And then it'll bring up a map saying you're going from this point A to point B. And then you would scroll down there and you would say, yes, this looks good.
Do I need to also get the top one to pop that up?
Yes. You can probably type in Kephart Plus, or yes, you have to fully spell out the words.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. And then, yep, yes, looks good. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot it was cross county. Okay, put in Kephart Plaza. And then put Geisinger Medical Clinic. '68 Spring Street. Yes, now this will work because this is a county to county. Okay, so you'll put in, you'll always have to pick a purpose. So we'll pick medical for the purpose. And next. And you'll want to choose anything that's highlighted in the dark blue are the dates that we are able to set the rides for at this time. So we'll put in for the next day, or we'll put in for tomorrow, the 25th.
Okay.
And then we'll say the time is going to be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's going to be in military time. Oh, no, sorry, 2 o'clock p.m. And then you'll want to click on the AM box to change it to PM. And how long do you want to stay? If you click the arrows on the right side, you'll get increments of how long you want to stay. It'll start at, I believe, 15 minutes.
Starts at 1 hour.
Okay, starts at 1 hour. So we can either do we can do it at 1 hour, which is typically how long a person will ask to be at their appointment, and then we'll hit next. Now we do ask if a person is riding with you or if not. We do also ask that for those questions there, we do have certain criteria for those. Now here for the driver's notes, we do enter notes in, especially for like Geisinger places, what department you're going to or what doctor you're seeing, because when the driver does come to pick the client up, we want to make it as smooth and easy as possible for the driver. So we just add the notes in so the driver can find the client a lot easier and, get them all picked up and going faster. And then book the trip. And then it's just going over all the information. Once it looks good to you, you can confirm by hit book this trip again. And then you're going to see the upcoming you're going to see in there the trip that you have set for the date. Right now it's showing for tomorrow. It looks like we'll be picking them up around 1:15 in the afternoon to take them to their appointment to be there by 2 o'clock at the Geisinger Clinic in Lock Haven. Now, this is the part of the tool that I like. You can see where the driver is, what time the driver is expected to pick you up. And if you ever needed to cancel your ride, you can also cancel it right in the site to make it easier. It's a lot more user-friendly and gives our clients the tools to be able to have control of the rides that they are scheduling with us.
All right. We do have some questions, so I will go ahead and read these out. From Lisa Hopper, she wanted to know if this was an application that needed to be renewed annually.
No, once they submit an application to us, and they are set up in our system, the only way anything would happen is if they lose the eligibility with us. But they would not need to renew an application with us. It's just a matter of us verifying that they still meet the eligibility requirements.
All right. And if you have any follow-up with your questions, feel free to unmute yourself, anyone here. Another question is, would you accept a veteran's ID which says former member on it, but does not have their date of birth on it? The ID is called the U.S. Department of Defense of Uniformed Services.
At this time, from what I'm aware of right now, and it can change, but at this time we are only able to accept DD-214s.
Okay, Penny, can I chime in?
Yes.
Right now, in fact, actually it changes July 1st, but we can accept armed forces discharge papers. The question on the document would be something we could send to Harrisburg, but we also have the eligibility um list here. And Jamie, you have everyone's email, right?
Yep.
Okay, I tell you what, we will send out an email of the documents that are needed to verify, especially like proof of age for the senior shared ride and eligibility for the PWD transportation. So if we can email that out to individuals who are on the call, we will do that. That way you at least have a copy of that.
All right. All right. Laura Kirkland was asking about how secure the information is, since we are gathering social security numbers, dates of birth, addresses, etc.
Well, the best way to describe that, I know PennDOT is very heavy into cybersecurity and security, so I know they have multiple methods of trying to secure this information. Um, that's probably the best explanation I can give for for security. We've had no issues so far. I know sometimes people are shy about giving information, but with the different steps that PennDOT has taken um, to protect personal information, I would think this would probably be one of your more secure websites.
Question about the public struggling to schedule the ride. So I can actually kind of answer that. It's the first time I've used that site. As far as the thing not populating, you can just put in the address. It was, I think, going to pop up for that as well. As long as some part of the address is being typed in, it looks like it pops up. Another question. Here we go. Can transportation be scheduled from county to county?
As of right now, no, but we're hoping to get to that level within a couple months. It was recommended we just do internally county to county, and then eventually we'll hopefully do Lockhaven to Clinton and Clinton to Lycoming. I mean Lycoming to Clinton and Clinton to Lycoming. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to announce that when we have that capacity. Question from Rhonda Wallitzer, or I'm sorry, from Danielle Ashton about how is this different than completing the application on the STEP website. Currently, the website does just link to the Find My Ride application. So it is the same thing right now.
And Penny can correct me, but she's actually timed it, and it's actually probably faster than doing the one that we had up on the website. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Penny, but
Oh no, you're exactly right. And it's actually a lot easier in the PennDOT site, because as we are entering the information, the PennDOT site is also verifying that these people or our clients are meeting the eligibility requirements.
And Laura was just clarifying about, so the VA does verify the date of birth, but I know, Dan, you said that per the contract right now, it is just that DD 214 form that we can take.
For the veterans transportation, yes. I mean, if there's another VA form which proves age, that can be used for like the senior shared ride program. I'm going
Okay.
to say, but if it's for
Even
the
though it doesn't have the date of birth on it, just because the VA has verified it, that's okay?
as long as they verified age. Okay,
Okay.
and that's something that might be something that's in that gray area that we would have to get with PennDOT on.
Okay. Rhonda Wallitzer was asking about the age ranges, if you want to break that down, what that looks for, like as far as 60 to 64 and then 65 and above.
Okay, the age ranges are, of course, most of our customers can be 0 to 65, but um, from 60 to 64, that's normally our senior transportation program, which goes through our Office of the Aging, where they sponsor trips. 65 or above, they become eligible for the senior shared ride program, which is the lottery program. Okay. And to be eligible for that, they only have to be 65 or above. There's no income criteria for that. And of course, persons with disabilities requires a verified disability, and which the list is actually larger than Penny had given at the time because they've even expanded that. And of course, medical assistance transportation, anyone between 0 and 64 who's actively receiving medical assistance, as long as it's an approved category. I don't know if I want to get too deep in the woods, but there are some categories of medical assistance which do not qualify for medical assistance transportation.
All right. Doesn't look like there are any questions in the Q&A, and I think that was all of them in the chat. Here we go. Shonda Eck, if transportation cannot be scheduled from one county to another, how do members schedule MATP trips to hospital facilities out of their county?
Okay, if it's like going from Lycoming to Clinton or Clinton to Lycoming, what they would have to do is they can do one of two ways. They can send an online reservation, what we have going now with the online reservation, which will still be running up until probably close to the time that we go cross county. If it's outside the two county service area, which is like coming Clinton, in most cases, that requires a 3-day advance notice so that we make sure we have a driver that's available to transport um, individuals to that. And that would have to be done through direct contact with our office. Again, it can be done through email, um, and can be done obviously over the phone, but it would have to be done that way.
All right. And Laura Kirkland did have a further question about just, I guess, the cybersecurity piece, which I don't know if we can answer more. Dan?
What was the question?
I guess what happens if there is a security breach, like at the state level?
While there's a security breach at the state level, my assumption, at least that's what we've been done, we'd be notified on that, and we would have to notify anyone who it might have affected. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the answer. I mean, that's the best answer I can give right now.
Okay, and another question from Bo Coffee. If a Pennsylvania issued prison ID with a photo, is that valid for services?
Yes.
Okay. Rhonda was asking how people register for the lottery system, the lottery funding.
Well, they would just do it, they could do the Find My Ride, or if they feel more comfortable, they can contact our office, and we would just get them signed up for the lottery program.
Okay. All right, I think that is all of the questions we had. We will be sending out the recording plus some additional materials to everyone who registered for this and to the task force and collaborative boards in general, so they can all get that. Dan, Penny, anything else?
No,
No, I just wanted to thank everybody again for attending, and please don't feel free to, even though we're sending information out, always feel free to email us or contact us. Um, we'll try to get your question answered, and sometimes it takes a call to Harrisburg to answer those questions. Someone's asking,
thank you.
someone had just asked if it was for the elderly. No, no, this is I mean, we transport people from birth to, we've had clients over 100 years.
He's not muted. It just sounded like he got cut off. All right, but yeah, any follow-up questions? I just put Dan's email in the chat, and then any general questions can always be sent to step@stepcorp.org. All right, thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.